が誰かのこと傷つける憎しみが恨みを生んでしまうのかもしれない正解のない世界に苦しんでそれでも受け止め我らは叫ばなければいけないんだ心がむずいて思い描いた自由への衝撃僕の意図であろう君の願いであろうそれがダメな部分はねと悔いやくなれることがいつの日かできな信じたのは一輪の花触れてくれてその時にあがいてもがいてまみれ迷いながらも概念の中にわずか輝くそれをその手に掴み取り勝ち取るためにはまた立ち上がる思い描いた自由への衝撃的な僕の血肉となり君の魂となり
And we should be live. Welcome back, everyone. Ben with ChainGuardians and ChainBoost. Today, I'm joined by an incredible group of people. Varun, co-founder, CEO of The HUSL, and Sapphire, co-founder of The HUSL as well. Gentlemen, pleasure to be here today, right?
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having us, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. So general structure of these is we like to give stuff away. So we'll start with a KuCoin red envelope. We'll talk a lot about the hustle, how the music industry is broken, why it's being fixed. These gentlemen in front of you are doing a lot of innovative things in the scene. So we're excited to get into it. And then at the end, we'll do some AMA stuff. Questions answered by us will be eligible for prizes, happily sponsored by The HUSL. And then if you stay tuned throughout the live stream, we might do some special IDO giveaways as well. So definitely a community-oriented event today, gentlemen. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I actually haven't done a live AMA ever, so I'm ready. I'm more of a speaker than a typer. It's like a lot of times these AMAs when I'm like typing away, it's like my fingers hurt, you know?
Yeah, no.
I just send voice memos.
Yeah, no joke, no joke. Well, I remember when I was initially talking to you guys, I was like, we can do an AMA or a live stream, and it was one of the quicker let's do a live stream responses that I've gotten in a while.
Yeah, I was like, live stream, I was like, let's do it. Probably because a lot of projects are like anon too, and they value the privacy. It's like, bro, we're as public as possible. So.
Well, and there's a lot of value in that too. There's a lot of trust-based stuff here in crypto and blockchain. And as we drop the KuCoin red envelope in chat, we'll give people a little bit of time to claim those prizes before we dive too deep into it. But being front-facing is important. And you guys are obviously, as we spent some time before the live stream together, you guys are very personable. So whenever your community can see your faces, get to know you better, especially being co-founders, there's a lot of value in that. So, gentlemen, I think we should get started. What do you think?
Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm texting the link to somebody right now, but yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, all right. Varun, I'm going to come your direction. Can you talk a little bit about your experience in blockchain?
Yeah, so I'm Varun. Been in the space for a long time. You know, crypto's kind of been my lifeblood and my passion for many, many years. I got my first Bitcoin actually in 2013 at the peak. It was around December. I saw it on CNBC, actually. They were just shilling it. It was like $1,000. I was like, I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to quote unquote ape in because I'm like, why not? 2 months later, I got immediately dumped on, and I thought the whole market was a complete scam. But it was funny because then I started reading about it, and then in 2017, I literally just like fell down the rabbit hole. And since 2017, I've experienced the bear market, the bull market at that time, the bear market, invested into like all these crazy alts. Shout out to the most random alts you can possibly find. Rode out the bear market and, been here since. And in 2020, I really discovered DeFi. DeFi summer was a really fun time. Summer of 2020 was actually a really, really fun time in crypto. I don't know if you were around there, Ben, but it was so cool. It was after the pandemic, but people were just like, we weren't in a bull market, but we found out what DeFi was with Wi-Fi. Yeah. And that was around the same time I discovered the NFT world, opened up my first OpenSea account. Didn't even know what that was. But then I just love the simplicity of like NFTs and how you can trade collectibles. I mean, I'm a big sports card guy growing up. Then I fell down the NFT world and, long story short, March is kind of when the HUSL's idea came around, and been here since doing this.
Dude, that's great. I mean, I think anytime we can get someone in here that came back to blockchain after that initial crash back in 2013, the fact that you gave it a second chance says a lot about you. But I have to say, your team has some of the funniest biographies on your about section that I've seen in a long time. As I went to your page not too long ago, and man, it's good that you're a survivor of various rug pulls and the Twitter incidents.
Man, I'm telling you, most people in this space know us fellow, like we like to call ourselves DJs in a fun way, right? Like, we aped into the most random stuff ever. Summer of 2020 was so fun, so many thrills, so many rug pulls, but it's part of the game, right? Like kind of like your induction into the crypto world.
Yeah, and I think that's big, is that there's obviously a lot of room for growth in the industry. We're starting to see a lot of that. As you know, as I'm sure you're very familiar with, and something we deal with a lot through ChainBoost, is there's a lot of projects that are trying to sell a promise, not necessarily with the intentions of following through with that promise. So the fact that we're here today, and obviously we've worked very closely with your team, we know the vision, and let's get into diving in a little bit more about that. So can you talk, what is the HUSL? And what is the utility behind the token? Obviously, the reason why we're here is a token. So maybe just start with a brief introduction to the HUSL, because we already have some Busta Rhymes stuff here in the chat, and then we'll dive into the token utility as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the HUSL is a new NFT, basically marketplace. But what we're trying to do is focusing only on the music world, and our goal and our sole goal is to empower the creatives. Empower the creatives to interact with the way that they want to with their fans worldwide. And so by empowering the artists, we want to give them full control. We want to get them top dollar and truly monetize their value. And as Sapphire will explain, going forward, the traditional system of how things are done is terrible for the creatives. It's absolutely terrible. We want to be a new record label. We want to be something using blockchain technology as a tool to facilitate the true meaning of what it means to be a creative. Creatives should be empowered. They should not be taken advantage of. That's what we're trying to do at the HUSL. And when it comes down to the token utility, there's projects out there that have a token for the sake of having a token. We're going to be different in the sense that we want to create a reason for everyone watching this to hold the token, to buy the token, whatnot. And that's creating value from day one. And so what we've emulated to do is we're going to give perks and benefits for token holders. So what we do is it's not different than a lot of different projects out there that have been in this space. But the sole purpose of our token or premise is you take your token, you buy it, then you stake it onto our platform. So basically we're introducing DeFi concepts to the NFT world. Some of the other people in the space do the same thing. You stake it onto our site. It basically accrues yield every day. Now the yield is not in the sense of like a traditional DeFi project where it's just like, APR of like, USDC or something, or our token to create, undue sell pressure, because then it becomes inflationary. We're going to create, you get a yield in a different form of the token called the BAGS token. Now the BAGS token is not tradable. It's an off-chain token. Think of it as a dummy token, but it's called the BAGS token. These BAGS tokens, as you accrue every day, you can now then redeem for really cool stuff, whether it's free NFTs, whether it's meet and greets, experiences. We really want to target the experiential factor. A lot of Top Shots have done certain things, like we're mixing and matching invites to exclusive parties that we'll be doing, every quarter or something of big magnitude. So different levels have different, things. And we want to basically make this platform accessible to everyone around the world, regardless of how much money you make. So if we have an NFT on the site, we want to, buy some of the NFTs from the artists themselves, put it into these staking pools, and reward our stakers. And the only thing they have to pay for is gas, just the gas fee. And so we're going to be switching a lot for those type of things onto Polygon as well, to even reduce the gas fee. So we're all about making sure if you stake with us, you buy our token, there's a reason. And also last thing is you're going to have a lot of, you're going to have a lot of ability to decide certain things, governance per se, right? So there goes Sapphire. So a lot of the, there he's back again. Yeah,
those darn AirPods, man.
Those darn AirPods. So a lot of other things too, we're going to give you guys a vote. So a vote to, empower you, whether it's, the design of certain things on the site of the NFT, help us design the NFT, help us decide who is going to be featured next. where on the site are we going to place them? So those are the things that we are going to provide for token holders, and a lot more, but I got to keep you guys waiting until after we launch.
So just to reiterate, because obviously there's a lot there, which is good because a lot there means that you're adding a lot of utility, adding a lot of value. But meat and potatoes of it is some DeFi opportunities, some governance opportunities, and possibly exclusive event redemptions through this off-chain accumulation that you're able to work away with as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that's exciting because obviously when you're talking about going through these avenues of artist empowerment through NFTs, and then you start to draw in some of these artists into these exclusive events and offer these exclusive events, I think that there's going to be a lot of people excited. And obviously, as you guys know, Busta Rhymes is a hotly talked about topic, as we've seen probably 5-6 times in the chat already. So I don't know if that's in the plans. Maybe you guys can share that at a later time. But I know that that would be a hit, at least with our community. So you said something about specifically the hustle in general that I think is really important, because we actually did a live stream with Pelike and Noi. Pelike is a world-renowned musician that focuses on anime style colors.
Last week, actually.
Very nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so extremely humble for as successful as he's been, and he's helped us a lot. He obviously did the soundtrack that we rolled into as the introduction here. Also, Noi is our world-class artist, NFT artist that aims to create and shape ChainGuardians to become the DC marvel of blockchain of NFTs. And we did like a 45-minute to an hour live stream just talking about how NFTs create pathways of artist empowerment. And I think that's really important because you guys have a cause, you have a vision, but that cause and vision is in alignment with creating value add for people that have traditionally been exploited in the industry. And Sapphire, I'm excited to get to talking about you a little bit later, because I know you have an extensive renowned background in music. So we'll definitely tab back into that, and I'm excited to hear your perspective as we get closer to that direction. Varun, I wanted to discuss something just because it's not overly saturated yet, because there's not a lot of people doing this. But can you talk a little bit about your competitors in this industry, within this niche of blockchain, and then talk specifically about the competency of the hustle and what you guys are doing differently?
Yeah, no, of course. Can you guys hear me? I think you can. My connection's
Yep.
a little off.
You're all good.
All right, cool. So I mean, we're in a situation where we're in a prime moment in time, actually. So if I was telling, when we first started talking about the hustle and creating it, when I met Sapphire many months ago, I basically told him, if we don't do this, someone else will. It's not like, oh, maybe. It's inevitable.
Yep.
I mean, it's straight up inevitable. And so obviously I'm not going to let the opportunity slip by, and that's why we're doing that hustle. But what we're doing is something that, is not, it's just the natural evolution of how blockchain is going to be, right? Blockchain is affecting many, many different, it's actually affecting all industries out there, different sectors. I come from a real estate background, actually. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of the big people in the real estate blockchain space, and just knowing that, anything that's an antiquated industry those are the ones that are primed for disruption. Prime. Music is no different. And so we see this moment. And so, for instance, a lot of the outside world is starting to understand. Basically in February, NFTs really became on the forefront for the first time in the grand scheme of things, on a global scale. Beeple's sale for $69 million really kind of catapulted that. A lot of eyes became aware of these things. I mean, this was back, you could have bought like a CryptoPunk for about $500 last year. Now they're like $500,000. So in a short time, the whole NFT space, and I messed up on that. Shout out to those who own one.
I messed up too. Don't worry.
Oh man, that was a major regret. I totally have FOMO sometimes, but I can't afford it anymore. So, anyways, so we noticed on the front end of things in February, it finally got on the main stage. Obviously you got a lot of big collectors like Mark Cuban involved. They're basically shedding light on this, right? And so the music idea was still very nascent, in the sense of how the creatives in the hip hop world, especially, were really understanding these things. Then Blau came along. Now Blau did a really big thing, and he really, and props to him. He really is a pioneer in what he does. And I've never spoken to the guy, but super dope for what he's done. So with the competition, people have started to come ideas. And what I've learned is that in the traditional world, there are big players in the space who have these ideas, the Jay-Z's, all sorts of people, right? But the one thing that doesn't, the Tom Brady's of the world, for instance. Now I see that, and some people are like, "Oh man, that's terrible, competition, blah blah blah." I don't view that as competition at all. You know what I view that as?
Hopefully, opportunity.
I view that as not only an opportunity. I view that as support to my thesis that this is where the world's going. And if those type of people are going to invest their hundreds of millions of dollars in doing their thing, that means I am correct in my assumption that this is where I need to be at the moment.
Yep.
So where we stand is not only, so what I propose to people who might think that, a bigger player is going to come in, scoop you up. I'm going to disagree. They're going to view me and they're going to call me and Sapphire, and we're going to be their competition, because the one thing that we have that they don't have is the crypto world's love and support.
Yep.
I find it very, very, very hard to find any other music company in the traditional world. I'm not talking about the ones currently in the traditional music world, the Jay-Z's of the world that have the type of KOL influence that we have, the support in crypto. We live and breathe and die this crypto world. The fact that we're talking to you, creating IDO platforms, those guys don't even know what an IDO is. They're just like, oh, big money, big person, I'm going to sell millions. And that's going to be further from the truth. At the end of the day, what sells in the NFT world is not the bigger name. It's about building a community, it's core engagement with your fans, your audience. And that is what we do.
Yep.
And that's why we're going to succeed.
Dude, so just a quick tangent to go off that. And you nailed it on the head. And I think it's important to highlight every single time there's an opportunity to highlight it. Blockchain projects are nothing without community. Flat out nothing without their community. I don't care who you are. I don't care how amazing your tech is. I don't care how great your vision. Without building a community, you don't have anything. And so you talk about the KOL connections and networking, which is obviously important. But I know how much time, energy, and effort you guys have put into creating a community. You guys do a brilliant job with marketing because you act like people on social media, which is so important. Like, people don't care. The thing about blockchain is people don't care about bringing the corporate world into blockchain. Like, the corporate business world is dead when it comes to blockchain, because people care about people, right? Because it's not corporations. That's the reason why decentralization is so important, is because it's not about centralized power, centralized processes. It's about the community of blockchain as a whole messing up a lot along the way as we move towards mass adoption, but focusing on social listening, ideation, and iteration around community feedback. So I had to piggyback off of what you're saying, because you're 100% spot on. Ironed down, like what you said is the holy truth of blockchain. And I think it's so important to highlight. And so thank you for that, because it helps. Like, that's part of the reason why we're here today, is people need to hear that stuff, especially the value add behind it. Sapphire, I'm sorry we've made you sit down and drink your entire cup of Joe this whole time, man. You better be done. Are you on your second cup at this point?
I got a couple more sips. Couple more sips here. It's strong stuff.
Oh, yeah, I hear you, man. Talk to me a little bit about your experience, maybe in blockchain, and then obviously we want to hear about your background in music. I spent a little bit of time listening to some of your stuff before live stream. Generally, sax isn't my cup of tea, or cup of coffee, so have you, to stay with the trend, but I was impressed, and I'm generally pretty picky with my music, so I wanted to give you a platform to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. I've been in music since I was a fetus, literally. My parents would play music while I was in my mother's womb, because I would kick so much. And started playing accordion when I was 4 years old, and piano at 6, and saxophone at 9, and composed my first sonata at 11, my first symphony at 15. And I performed at Lincoln Center in New York with my jazz quartet at 18. And around 20, I produced an EP that ended up getting 185 million streams on Spotify.
Wow.
And then I was flown out to the Kanye West camp a couple of years after that, around the time he was working on Yandi, when he was with Trump, showing him the crazy in the Oval Office. He was going through a thing at the time. And then I Was in the studio with the Chainsmokers around the time they did Selfie, and I've basically been all over the music industry,
Wow.
from jazz at Lincoln Center to symphonies to EDM with the Chainsmokers to hip hop to R&B, which is what the genre of the music with the almost 200 million streams. And then in blockchain, I bought my first Bitcoin and Ethereum in late around in 2017.
Wow.
Actually, my dad, who is an advisor for the hustle, is the one who introduced me. He's a world-renowned economist, and he's an official advisor for the company. And he's really been really forward-thinking in a lot of different respects where it's going to the future. And he's the one who introduced me to crypto, and yeah, and I learned about NFTs in 2020, and basically, from there, after just delving, I've become, I'll be very obsessive over things. That's how I learned classical music and production and saxophone and whatnot so deeply. I became super obsessed in how can NFTs change the music industry, and it just was getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And I realized that, we were onto a revolution before it was even starting. And I really felt like, I ended up moving to Puerto Rico, where the center of a lot of blockchain is, and speaking to all the founders of all these different companies, playing, seeing the CMO of Chainlink at the tennis court, and all these different things, and going to a party with the head of Matic and all the head of institutional capital of Matic, and talking to them, and just completely immersing myself. And I realized that when I was in Hollywood, and even if Cardi B was listening to my beats, and even if I was sitting with the chairman of Atlantic Records to get signed and all this different stuff, I was in this dead dinosaur industry of centralized control. And I said, well, if Bitcoin is threatening, can the record labels be threatened in the same way that Bitcoin's threatened centralized banking? And when Varun approached me and started talking to me, I said, oh my God, it's time to join this revolution.
It all clicked, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the truth is that music and the music industry, over 88% of music industry income goes to non-artists, goes to non-creatives. 88% of music industry income goes to, and blockchain is in a big way going to solve that, because most of that income is being paid for services that blockchain can solve, and the ones that can't be solved by blockchain, the hustle is trying to provide. And I can get more into detail on that, but I could literally, I mean, this is what I do. I speak for hours and hours and hours about this. Just I'll go full monologue, and you'll never ask another question. So I'll stop there.
Oh, Sapphire, that's good though, because you asked generally how long these things run. I don't think you were talking about time constraint. I think you were talking about how long you can push it out with all these tangents, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was talking about making sure my iPhone charger was plugged in. On the call again, really. But if you want to talk for 10 hours, I'm here. Let's go, Ben.
Oh, gosh.
Your community is so valuable to us, and we're really happy to be able to be launching with you. And we want to provide the alpha for you guys to see that, the hustle is really going to be a new, every time a technology is invented, the music industry changes. Obviously, every time any technology is invented, the music industry changes. But there's usually a war, especially with the music industry, because it's one of the most corrupt and centralized controlling industries in the world. My dad always likes to say, the movie industry is the worst, except for the music industry, which is really, really He always says that. Excuse my language.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll stop there because I'm gonna go all tangent on you. So go ahead.
So what I'll need, and Varun, by the sound of it, we're gonna have a lot of time before we come back to you. Just by the way, that Sapphire is going off here, but
Go for a run or something.
I waited patiently for my cup of coffee, man.
Yeah. You give Sapphire the floor, you'll take it.
One thing I want both of you to think of is a question that we can ask that has a very specific answer.
Sure.
Like last stream we did, what was their main in League of Legends, and there was one concrete answer. And the reason why I'm asking you both to think of this is because we're gonna pose those questions to the community, and the first person to get the answer to those questions is gonna get a whitelisting spot for your IDO. And part of the reason why we're doing that is because we're now in the middle of streams, which is generally where you start to see dip-offs. And if you're here, it's because you care, it's because you're listening, it's because you're passionate about what Varun and Sapphire are talking about. So just start thinking of those questions, because once we're done with Sapphire's monologue here, we'll open it up a little bit. But no, all joking aside, Sapphire, it's good. Like, I think it's important because people hear your passion, and I don't mean to flip you too much crap. Hopefully you don't take it that way, but it's good because it's passion, right? And it's an embodiment of passion, which is what you always want to see through people. Passionomics. I love it. I'm going to steal that from you, by the way.
One of our co-founders' words, so I have to give him credit.
Right. So, the next question was, how does blockchain change the music industry? I'm sure that there's a little bit of, maybe adding on top of what you were just talking about that I think is important to cover. Do you want to dive a little deeper into that?
Sure, I'd love to if my monologue doesn't run 3 hours. So in order to answer that question, we really have to and I'm assuming this isn't the question. You're not. So when you said the questions that we have to ask the community, this is not related, right?
No. This is not related. This is not. We have a couple more questions specifically for you, and then I'll let you ask the community. But I just wanted to give Varun a heads up so he can start thinking about it as we go through.
Varun, you think about that. I'll cover this. So in order to answer that question, you really have to ask, okay, well, where were we before blockchain existed, and what does it look like to be an artist or a producer or a creative in the music industry before blockchain? And we can't make the fair comparison until we really analyze that. Mm-hmm. And the analysis of that is most people don't really know how the music industry works and what a traditional record label deal looks like and how a musician gets paid. A traditional record deal is that in the music industry is you're going to get an advance. Let's say you get a $1 million record label advance, right? But really, it's a recoupable deal, which basically means I'm going to give you $1 million, but any albums that you sell, which, by the way, I have full control over what you're going to sell and how much of it you're going to sell and what I think is good. And many times you might deliver an album, and this has happened all the time, and the label just puts it on the shelf and it never gets released. And even though you want to release it, you're not going to release it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you this $1 million advance, and it's going to be recoupable, which means if I do end up letting you release your album, then any sales that are made, I'm going to collect the $1 million first, right? And the $1 million has a budget, but I'm in control of the budget. So that limo that picked you up at the hotel to take you to the concert that the label paid for is coming out of your budget. Yeah. The marketing guy that got a hotel room in Dubai in order to do whatever the hell he was doing, that guy, that hotel room, that's on your budget. So I get to control all the costs, right? Most of the costs. Maybe some of that is for you. And whenever you do the sell, we're going to recoup it. And then after that, I'm going to take 80% of the income. And you'll take 16% maybe, and 4% is going to go to the producer that I'm hooking you up with, right? That's already signed to me. And of your 16%, 20% of it is going to go to a manager, 5% of it is going to go to a lawyer, and 5% is going to go to a business manager. So what ends up happening is, and this is a true statistic, over 88% or 80% of the music industry income goes to non-creatives. It goes to intermediaries that are basically handling the money, that are dispersing of it. And you can wait any from even, I've waited, and I beep you not, I shit you not, that I've waited over 3 years to be paid by record labels sometimes, or to be paid directly from artists. Like I've had a song that was I made a song in 2016, finished, done, mixed, mastered, delivered. That was then released in 2018 that I wasn't paid for until 2020. I didn't see $1 from it. So I made the song in 2016. It was released in 2018, and it was paid for in 2020. That's, freaking insane. What the heck? Like, what other industry do you see that? Imagine Varun is in real estate, goes and sells you a house, and you own the house, and you go into the house, and then 2 years later, the guy who sold the house gets the money. That's insane. And, there's no true way to really audit. I mean, you can,
Yeah.
but you're going to have to hire an auditing company, and it's going to be $40,000-$50,000. And who knows how the label's creative accounting, and there's no open ledger like there is in blockchain. So NFTs are the biggest, in my opinion, revolution that's going to affect so many different industries, the music industry for sure. And each time, there's a revolution in the music industry, there's always a fight back. For a long time, there was this big war between Silicon Valley and the music industry, which was what Spotify was emerging out of, which is streaming. And the music industry was fighting tooth and nail to make sure that didn't happen. They wanted to continue their CD sales and their vinyl sales. And there's this big fight until finally the technology is adopted. So how does blockchain change all of this? So in order to do that, we have to look at what is every function that a record label performs. And more so, the question would be, the more accurate question is, what is every function that an artist, a naive artist, believes a record label performs? Because a lot of them, they don't really perform. If I'm supposed to release and distribute your record, but I just put it on the shelf and hide it from you for 20 years and nobody gets the money, or nobody sees it from the light of day, then that's just an assumption. So one of them is, okay, well, the distribution of money. The way that it traditionally works is I'm going to give you music, and then I'm going to wait, like I said, 3 years in order to get the income from it. With a smart contract, it can obviously, the people who know blockchain know, we can set it up so that album is attached to a string of characters, which is the NFT, and when it's sold, the smart contract divvies up the money into the wallets, almost immediately. Even if it took 1 month, it would be better than 3 years, and it takes 10, 20, whatever minutes, sometimes even sooner. So that's already taken care of. So you kind of just this giant attack on the whole, and the 5% that the business manager is collecting and the 80% that everyone else is collecting, there's no need to have them be paid all this money because the smart contract is taking care of that. So you already have this giant attack on the accounting in the music industry and the business manager in the music industry and the legal profession in the music industry. Next is, I'm getting this $1 million from the record label, right? That isn't really getting paid. It's really a loan. It's really a really crappy, shitty, like bank loan, basically, that now you can replace it with a decentralized financing of people being like, okay, I'm in love with Sapphire's work, and I think that his next album is going to do really, really well. And he's putting out this NFT, and I think that his next album is going to do even better. And as we've seen, Tory Lanez sold 1 million different copies of one small EP for $1 each, and he sold it out in 57 seconds, made $1 million in 57 seconds. And now they're getting put on the secondary market for $30,000-$40,000. I don't know if any of them have sold, but that goes to show that there's this interest by all the consumers. So the other aspect of the music industry that's being attacked is being able to fund an artist's career. The relationship between fan and artist is completely blocked in the traditional music industry by the intermediaries, the record label. The record label doesn't want the fan to have this interest in the artist because they want to own it all in the centralized control. Now, when we have an NFTs, the fan is able to buy the NFT and believe in the artist's future career and speculate on it going up, and the artist is able to fund their career. So what we really envision is, instead of being, we like to joke, an Icelandic DJ, 19 years old, who is, or an Icelandic singer, let's say young Bjork, right, or whatever, is trying to get signed, instead of
Bjork.
her, like, whatever, I'm just thinking of somebody, doing a waitress job and trying to, like, get ends meet in order to finally put it out and, be blocked by all these gatekeepers, and then finally she gets this record deal that's tied her. I was just listening to Pusha T's diss of Drake, The Story of Abaddon, and he says, the M's count different when Baby divides the pie. It's because Birdman of Cash Money basically signed Drake to such an extensive deal that all of his music, he still doesn't have a majority percentage of. He's still getting a minority percentage because all those millions are going back to Cash Money. So back to the DJ, instead of having to do what Drake did and get this really binding deal, like 5-album deal for only a few $1 million, that's really recoupable, that she has no control over. Imagine if she came to the HUSL and she put out one song, and it's this unbelievable song, or like, you know, whatever, Bjork or Drake, whatever, puts this unbelievable song and says, I'm going to sell it as an NFT. And, you know, you hear it and you hear, whatever, like Find Your Love, Drake's, one of early Drake's hits. And
Yep.
you go, wow, I can buy that for $1. And if you buy that, imagine if you bought Find Your Love at $1 before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
That would definitely be worth 10 grand today, at least. And that gets to fund Drake's career to really be independent from centralized control. And that really gives him the ability to make the music video that he wants to make. And it's this connection between fan and artist, and that really makes it so that there isn't this giant intermediary that's taking the big percentage.
So
I'll stop there.
no, that's great. I want to unpack it a little bit.
Sure.
So first and foremost, that 88% going to non-creatives, it sticks in people's brain. I think that's incredible. I think that's amazing to highlight. Can I ask you this, Sapphire? Because obviously these big corporations, these big intermediaries work very hard to keep the public knowledge away from this type of information. How commonly is this talked about? How well is it hidden? Is this something that artists know about? Like, is this because there are a lot of naive artists that get in the music industry and they start signing because they think they're gonna get somewhere, right? But do people actually comprehend to the degree of which they're being exploited for their talent?
I mean, I read an article the other day, or not the other day, actually it was quite a long time ago, but it was about, you know, Sly and the Family Stone, and, you know, Sly, he was in a van, I think, since like just recently homeless, because the record label had taken all of the income from all of his records, and he had just won a court case. I think it's pretty I think people know. I mean, I don't know. I'd ask you. I'm in the music industry. It's hard to see the portrait when you're in the portrait, but I think people know generally. Record labels, they take advantage of our artists. You know, it's the oldest joke in the book. You know, like I'll give you. You know, you'll give me a whole $100 for all my songs. You know, like in the Motown days and whatnot. You know, that they know there's shadiness, but there's no other real way, because without, you know, being an artist without funding is like being a startup company without funding. How are you supposed to, you know, you need to find a way, and it's similar to, how can you have a bank account without a bank? Well, Bitcoin changed that. Same exact thing with the hustle and record labels. How can you have Bitcoin without a bank? Well, you can. How can you have a music career without a record label? Through NFTs, through working with the hustle, through being able to fund your career directly from your fans, from being able to have that connection straight away.
So
yeah.
Question there. You talk about funding being the predication for the creation, the NFT, right? So are there plans to set up different scholarship programs or something for artists that come through the hustle?
I'm so glad you asked that. Okay.
Because that's obviously that's obviously what people are thinking, right?
So this is a big.
Hold on. 3 minutes. No.
This is a big alpha for this community. This isn't public information. Nobody knows about it. I even asked Varun's permission if I'm allowed to talk about it on this live stream, because I wasn't sure if people would know. And it really ties back into what makes us different than our competition. My assumption is Jay-Z is like, all right, cool, we mint it, we sell it, right? That's what we're doing. You look at Fox, they just put $100 million. You know, all right, we'll mint it, we'll sell it. But if you really study, and like us DJs all on here, say that with pride, let's say. If you really
Varun, you gotta smile. You know you're a degen at heart too.
I'm proud of it. I have zero qualms. I'm deep into the sport. Honestly, it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
I'm chill.
Good.
If you really study it and you go really deep, and I got to shout out Zip, our dev, who spent hours on the phone with me, always teaching me how much deeper NFTs get.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, Zap. Our devs are based. They are the best. Like, if you want to find devs, Kevin and Chris, shout out to Kevin and Chris.
Kevin?
I mean, we have a project, and a lot of times people are like, rug pull, blah, blah, blah. Bro, our devs are literally the best of the best, and just so you guys know, we're audited. We got our audit from the community, so we're good to go. So your funds are Sapu, okay?
That's good, Kevin. You're getting some recognition. So obviously you're in chat. You've been hyped the whole time, Kevin, and they recognize you. So
Yeah.
Sapphire,
So,
go. I'm sorry, we keep
no
blocking
worries.
you off,
So,
man.
yeah.
You're like radiating like electricity, wanting to talk about this, and we keep pulling it out from under you.
I hope it's okay. AirPods. So yeah, man. So look, what makes us different is we're really taking it to a much deeper level. It's not just, all right, we're gonna sell a piece of whatever, a strange GIF with some beats behind it as an NFT. I mean, yeah, we're gonna make really, really dope artwork that we're gonna mint and sell, but we have some incredible plans on when it comes to that. So this isn't announced. Nobody knows about it. It's just for this community, and I'm really happy to be able to give alpha to a community we really value. So we have plans to do the following. When you mentioned scholarships, and when you mentioned, all right, really the discovery of artists, what we're going to end up doing is we have producers that are assigned to us that are, they sold it from the NFT world. They just did a drop that sold $500,000. From the traditional world, they have, we have producers, Palace, Gunboy, Mike and Keys, Spiff, etc. Palace and Gunboy have over 15 platinum records, #1s. They work with Young Thug. Palace is part of 808 Mafia with Southside and has done Future, a bunch of different. Spiff has done Rick Ross. I have 200 million streams with an artist called Verhana, etc. Mike and Keys did all of the Nipsey Hussle stuff. So we have this insane producer people that are aligned with us, that are signed to our NFT record label. We're going to be putting out for the producers stem packs, right? That are from each of the producers that are stems beat sample packs, which basically means for non-music people, it's like these are sounds that you can use in order to create beats. And you're going to download these sounds and you can make whatever beat you want to make. And if you buy the NFT of the sample pack for very cheap price, very affordable for anybody, and you buy it, you download it, you get the sample pack, you get to make whatever beat you want to make, you upload it to the HUSL platform, right? Now you have all these submissions using the same beat pack, these producers, and then you get to go to the HUSL platform and if you're staking HUSL, you get to vote on which ones are the best.
Oh.
So that's another utility there. And really what was showing that, why I'm talking about that, just to lead back to what I was talking about before, is record labels, right? We just talked about how smart contracts just fucked the entire accounting and legal stuff. Also,
I'm so glad we put the not eligible for kids filter on here.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Please keep it going. The passion exudes.
I should have asked if it was okay or not.
No, you're good. You're good.
The other thing that, we talked about funding coming straight from the fans, but what's the other thing that I lost my train of thought now. Sorry. The other thing that we talk about is, what's the most important place in the music industry? The front page of Spotify. If you're on the front page of Spotify, then or the front page of Apple Music, I've been there a couple times. Man, you're in the center of the music universe. Everybody sees you. Everybody goes there. But who chooses who goes on the front page of Spotify? Most of the time, it's by centralized playlist control. I've had my artists be with all of the 20 biggest playlisters of Spotify for all of the R&B playlists. Mm-hmm. Today, it's really a gatekeeper kind of scenario. It's a centralized place of control, a payola. It's always been that way with the music industry. I won't say it just because, it used to be that you used to go to radio DJs and you'd give them cocaine and whatever, and that's how your song got played on the radio. You know what I mean? So, not safe for kids. So when we go back to this contest and we look at this contest, we're really giving it to anybody who holds just a little bit of HUSL token, staking a little bit of HUSL token, gets to vote on who's going to be the winner of this contest. Not only are we destroying the accounting, destroying the legal, destroying the funding, we're also destroying, the being able to have the decentralized voting on, it's not necessarily a DAO, but decentralized voting on people being able to choose who the best is. Now you have the top 10. We're partnering with metaverse companies in order for us to create these live events in the metaverse, that anybody can come in to the metaverse, and on the panel is all these producers that made these sample packs, and you have you have the top 10, and they get to choose which is the best one. And the best one, the number 1, number 2, and number 3, we're going to pair with a celebrity rapper on our expense for your song to be paired with. Maybe it will be with Busta Rhymes. Maybe it'll be with some of the other people. And now you're getting this chance to release an NFT just from entering this competition as a producer. We'll do the same thing with the artist if you're a rapper or a singer. And now what we're doing is we're building this community. Yes, it's a competition, but people who's not a musician, if they hold a little bit of hustle token, they get to choose who's on the front page of Spotify, because the front page of the hustle will be the new front page of Spotify. If you're a producer, if you're a rapper, you get to enter this chance to collaborate with this artist and make your music career. And basically, and if you're just a casual listener, you get to come and watch the whole experience. Last thing, and then I'm gonna finish my monologue, is what's the last thing that blockchain can't solve? That a record label supposedly does, which really doesn't, that blockchain does not solve? Mentorship. Yes, we can give ownership back to the fans, ownership back to the artists, but code will never tell you how to navigate. And that's the biggest thing that we're most excited about, is whoever wins this gets to go on stage in the metaverse. We have Steve Rifkin, who's one of the biggest hip-hop icons of all time. He put out Wu-Tang. He discovered them. He discovered Akon. He put out so many different artists. We're going to have the ability for on stage in the metaverse, you to basically ask the questions of, how do I do that? How do I navigate the music industry? How do I do? And right there, you'll have this mentorship opportunity in front of anybody. Anybody will ask these questions. Our aim is, final statement, our aim is, and our goal is to basically fix and do better everything a record label in the music industry does, utilizing blockchain and utilizing new technology. And man, I hope that, and it would be great if the record labels caught up, because from a musician who's been beeped over and 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 over again, and experienced deep pain in that and struggle in that, I'm just happy to be able to help change the world for artists to be able to take back ownership and fans to be able to participate.
Man, if you didn't get chills listening to what he just said, then you got to check yourself. The reason why is because front and center on the Hustle's website, the HUSL.io, it talks about the music industry being broken, and it is. Sapphire, you've very eloquently outlined why it's broken, the different avenues as to why it's rigged to benefit labels, producers, etc. The concept that governance gets to guide talent is absolutely groundbreaking. You guys, the industry is broken, and you guys are shattering it because you're creating something better. You're creating something that adds value. You're creating avenues for people that have talent, ways of earning income. And that's as simple as this is. Like, we can talk for hours about it, Sapphire. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's as simple as creating and empowering artists avenues to make money.
Yeah,
equitably
and not
so.
only that, if you vote, I forgot to add this, if you vote for the right pick, that pick is minted and airdropped. So the people that you're rewarding, the people with the right ears, it's really decentralizing. It's really disinheriting all the intermediaries to just make it as simple as possible. Fan, artist, blockchain.
Yep. I love it. That's I think that sometimes you listen to a segment and it takes you a bit to digest. And I think that everyone listening to this live stream has stuff to digest tonight, because you have exploited the treacheries of the traditional market and the traditional industry here. And you've done so, but you have a solution for it, which is important, because people like to complain. People like to talk ill of things, but no one does anything. Varun, you and Sapphire are doing things, and that's so critical. We have a couple other questions, but I think I'm going to stop it there, because it would be a disservice really to go past that. Varun, I'm going to ask you, what are the two questions you have for the community here? Because we need to get some idea. We talked about why you guys are freaking amazing. So let's get some whitelisting spots out.
My question would be, what is the most exciting thing you guys are looking forward to with the hustle?
Okay.
That'd be question one.
Are you guys in chat here? Can you see?
No, can you help me out? So
Yeah, I could look on my phone.
Yeah, if you guys want to look, it might take a while to read some of the answers out. So if you guys just want to
No,
pick the
I
best
got
answer.
you. Yeah, I got you.
So can you post, Ben, please, so I can join?
Yeah, where would you like to see it, bud?
Just if you could post in our little Telegram group, so I could join in.
Yep, I'm gonna wait for some answers to come in because I think a lot of people there's a lot of things to be excited about. So I think I'm just gonna have 30 more seconds or so to let people get some answers in terms of what they're excited about.
I don't see the chat though. Like, so I'm watching it.
Yeah, no worries. If you're on your phone, it might be a little difficult to pull up. So
okay, let me just.
The answers are rolling in here, so no worries. I'll get them posted over to our Telegram group here in a minute.
Where is the chat hosted, on Telegram or?
No, it's on. We're doing a live stream here, or live stream. Jeez, YouTube live stream. All right, so the answers are in here. I'll kind of just copy paste them over there, that direction to Telegram. Oh, thank gosh, my Telegram didn't show. That's one thing I'm always worried about is the NDA leaks. Alrighty. So there are some of the responses.
Excellent. Let's see. Oh wow, there's some good ones.
There are. I'll add just a couple.
What is the question? I like it. I'm not gonna choose Kevin. Sorry, buddy.
Kevin, what are you doing? You already get the inside info.
Yeah, he's disqualified from it. Yeah, you know what? I actually like, because this does make this goes to our core ethos and message. There's an answer by Martin Jenkins Pollard. I like that. He's an artist who's had no chance to release his music, and this might finally remove the financial blockers for me.
I agree. That's the one that resonated with me too. That
one definitely should win. I mean, that's kind of what we're embodying, right? We want to empower creatives. Now, the creatives don't necessarily need to be, the Busta Rhymes of the world that people know. We want to give the opportunity to up and coming individuals as well, and this is a way for people to do so, right? Through the competitions that Sapphire was saying that we're going to be doing as well. We want to be the new record label in that sense, where we facilitate the ability for creators to interact with their fans. So that to me is very powerful, and it's something that's the core ethos of blockchain, and it's the core ethos of pretty much, any NFT project. I think if you only shoot for the stars, you're missing out on a prime opportunity to give exposure to people who really deserve that chance. And that's exciting to me. So
100%.
And I got to second that, and I got to agree with Varun. Busta Rhymes was not always Busta Rhymes. At one time, he was just an unknown guy trying to make it. And
maybe he was just another Martin Pollard, man. That's the beauty of what we're doing here, right?
And imagine the opportunity to be able to buy a Martin Pollard NFT before Martin Pollard's Martin Pollard, and what the value of that could be. You know what I mean? Shout out Martin Pollard.
Well, Martin Pollard, shout out to you, because now you have the opportunity to hold on to some of that hustle.
And send us some of your music in the official chat of Hustle.
Wow.
We'll see what it
hit us up in Telegram.
Hit us up in
Telegram. So go to our Telegram room. You should be able to find it. Go to our Twitter if you don't know it. Hit our Telegram room. Send us a message in Telegram, man. We'd love to hear some of your beats.
Wow. Talk about plugs. This has turned into a great opportunity for people. All right. So what's the second question? What's the second question y'all got here?
Let's see. Sapphire, you can choose this one, buddy.
Oh my God.
Well, you can't possibly tell me that you can talk for 30 minutes about anything, but you can't come up with a question.
Well, your question was, what are you most? That was such a good question. Varun, if you come up with one while I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think. Well, these were the only ones. I mean, that one's by far the best one. But
let's do this. I think this is a good one. What utility specifically for the token are people excited about to explore? I think that's probably a good
Or
question.
what are some ideas? Maybe let's have a brainstorming session.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you wanted me to ask another question, but instead I look at the answer. Totally get it. No, you know what? There is a question I do want to write because I do want to ask because, and it's funny that Kevin does mention it, but this is something that we really want to know. What features and prizes would you be the most excited for that we can provide to you guys?
Yeah, so are we thinking like giveaways and stuff, like incentivization?
Giveaways, okay. What would incentivize you and make you, the community, super excited to stake our hustle token? What would be rewards that you would absolutely love? That is my question.
Sapphire's on his second cup, so we might be here for another half hour.
Let's go.
So that's great. You guys see giveaway on the Hustle's Twitter. What do you want to see given away? What incentivized structures do you want to see? And that's a great question. That's actually a brilliant question. So get your question. Go for it.
Yeah, and then I guess Ben, if you could just send the answers to the room again.
Yep, I'm gonna let some of the answers fly in here because I know we have a really smart community here. I want to give them an opportunity to be able to put pen to paper here.
Are these videos recorded?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
we're
fantastic.
We're also gonna post some clips and some highlights of this, obviously, on our Twitter. You guys can propagate it over to your Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of amazing sound bites. I might have to squeeze our media director to figure out really innovative ways to cut Sapphire's 30-minute conversations down to 10-second highlight.
Yeah, no, I think I would love if every interview was kind of like an AMA because I think there's so much to be said and passion behind voices that you can't really put into a text, right, or in a chat room.
Yeah.
I don't know. I prefer speaking any time of the week.
Yeah, no, I do too. Actually, that's why I tend to enjoy these more. All right, so here are the questions or the answers that we've received. And then while the community, while they're reading through those to pick the winner of the second whitelisting, sorry, not label. Jeez Louise, it's been a day. Think of questions that you have because we're going to do a rapid fire community. We're going to answer 5 questions and people are going to be getting 40 USDT for those if they're selected, and then obviously we'll get that out to the community because we like giving stuff away, and that's sponsored by the Hustle. So gentlemen, thank you for sponsoring that. We always like giving stuff away to the community. So
yeah, no problem. It's our pleasure. Okay, so out of these ones that there's some good idea, but you know what I really liked. I don't know. I think this would be fire too for like someone who, and obviously this would mean, a token holder has to stake for a good amount of time, because this is, not an easy feat, but like we want to incentivize long-term holders. But I really like private lessons from artists and learning creative and writing process. Yeah, that's what me and Sapphire Buzz, we really think that and I think, so Ryan's the winner of this one.
Right.
I mean, private lessons from artists, I think that's so cool because not only, that's kind of like a mentorship type thing as well, right? So not only are you meeting somebody that you really like, but you're learning, you're getting empowered by learning a craft that, someone you look up to is excelled at. And from an artist's point of view, I think that's really, really cool because they always want to give back. And I think mentorship is something that is missing from, a lot of platforms these days, and the opportunities just don't exist. So Ryan, shout out to you, man.
I'm gonna add a reward for Ryan if he private messages me on Telegram. I'm gonna give him a 15-minute FaceTime mentorship, 30-minute FaceTime mentorship if he wants to ask any questions about creating music. So find me on Telegram, Ryan. Go ahead and we'll do a quick FaceTime this week, and I'll tell you anything you want to know about making music or creating in the industry.
Man, that's legit.
What we'll do, Sapphire.
So you suggest a feature, and then we make the feature happen. Right there. Done.
So what we'll do, Sapphire, so you don't get swarmed, is we will, when we reach out to him on Twitter for his wallet address for whitelisting, we'll also provide your Telegram handle if you're good with that.
Perfect. Yeah, just for him.
just for Ryan. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So let's get those questions in the chat. What do you have for these fine gentlemen? What we've covered end to end, full spectrum. We've dissected the entire industry. We've talked about how we're going to recreate something better, how that they're really focused on empowerment of artists, bringing out the middleman, this type of mentorship, grant scholarships, etc., metaverse integration to talent selections. So get those questions in right now, because obviously it's a good opportunity to learn more about the project, but obviously $40 per question is on the line as well. So that's where we're at here. Let's see here. I think we've had a couple come in. We'll maybe give it 2-3 minutes so that people can get some stuff in here. Alrighty. I think that there have been some questions that have gone through the entire live stream as well. So what I'll do is I will post some questions that we've gotten already. I'll let you guys select the questions, and then I'll continue to add questions as they roll in here. So here's the first batch of questions for you guys, and I'll let you pick out which question you want to answer. Besides Kevin saying heart got to go.
Shout out, Kevin.
And also, I want to shout out one of our other, who's been with us since day one. He's actually listening to Charlie HUSL, man. Charlie, appreciate you. He's a legend in the hip hop world too. Is basically, been, with the who's who of the world, the Rick Rosses, the French Montanas, and man, it's just an honor to have him around on the team too. And that's kind of cool thing about the hustle, right? We have people that are not only crypto degens like myself. I mean, that's my thing and kind of stuff, but we have real true music guys on our team who really, really just help us go to the next level. So we have the best of both worlds, the Sapphires, the Charlies. We just have a great team, and we surround ourselves with, people from all different sectors to kind of, I think, make us a legitimate powerhouse. It's going to be.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. Is it's about team and community, the two most underrated aspects of blockchain success, in my opinion.
Ben, are we choosing one question here from this, or more than one?
Honestly, if you see a question you like, just keep answering it. I'm gonna send you guys the
Varun,
second batch.
I chose one, but go ahead.
No, you go first, man.
Okay, cool. I choose Garrett McClay. Do you see HUSL as focusing more on the large or more famous artists, or looking for more toward empowering, connecting with small SoundCloud guy? Oh my God, the bunch more just popped up. Okay,
that's the second batch. We'll focus on Garrett McClay first.
Yes, but Garrett, I would say small, but also big. I mean, at the same time, look, to answer that question, I'm going to talk about Interscope and Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre and Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga became super, super famous because Troy Carter and her utilized social media, and they were one of the first to use social media in order to blow up an artist's career with Facebook and whatnot in the late 2000s decade. So, we see the same way with NFTs. I mean, look, that artist, that Drake, that Lady Gaga, that, whoever it is, might be Kevin raps a little too. Whoever that is out there right now. And we want to provide that, and whoever takes advantage of that technology is going to be able to blow themselves up. And and whoever's an early fan of that for the first time in history is going to be able to financially incentivize themselves in order to make that right pick. Yep. And man, dude, it just gets me so excited to think about how that's possible. I mean, like, I'm in Puerto Rico, so I hear Bad Bunny every single day, like all day, every single day. And he was just this kid living in La Perla, which is a super like ghetto part of Puerto Rico, not even, just a few years ago. And like, I just think about him, anybody with the ability to access the internet, to be able to upload, and anybody to be able to listen and to buy it, and like to make, like, the same way that a collectible goes up in value. Yep. And for that, be able to fund their career and get out of La Perla by like using that money and not having to do this binding record deal. A lot of these artists, and I don't want to expose anybody, but a lot of these artists, especially in the hip hop game and especially in the urban music game, a lot of them do not get successful without doing illegal things. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z was a drug dealer before he was a rapper. a lot of these guys have to go through some really, like, it's very tough to make it to a point that, like, he literally, a lot of his career was funded from like selling crack and stuff. And like, I just think, and like the danger he had to put himself through. And I just think it's like unbelievable that we're able to give them that opportunity. That makes me super excited. Now, if Kanye was going to release Donda as an NFT on our platform, would I be stoked? Just as stoked? Hell yeah. But both of them, I think, are valuable, and I'm most excited about the new Kanye, and the new Kanye being discovered using NFT technology, new innovative technology. So shout out to you for winning that $40.
$40, awesome. Just make sure you provide your Twitter handle there, Garrett McClay. We want to make sure you get your $40. All right, gentlemen. What's the next question we're going after here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, some of these questions is there any more after that you've done? I would hate to give money to some people's questions that are just really bad. I'll be honest, some of these are, you literally could just take 2 seconds to answer, but I guess I'll do one, the only one that seems decent. Like, for instance, when is it going to launch? You could just read the white, you could just literally read anything. I'll go with Z4 Lock. I think, can you tell us more about your strategic partners and the partners who are providing your monetary help? So
yep. That
is a good question. So I'll definitely choose that one. I think, so in our private round, we're blessed to be oversubscribed. So we have we've had a lot of interest, right? The crypto world's taken note. We purposely only dealt with the crypto world. Literally, we took no money from the outside, anyone outside of crypto. And it's a combination of a couple things. It's, a few crypto VCs that have been with us since, for a while, that have provided good strategic rapport. Bullperks is one of them. GD10 Capital, or GD10 Ventures, sorry, GCAP, are some of the few that have provided resources to get us to where we are. But we really focus on getting strong KOLs invested in us, in our story. And, I've been blessed to meet a lot of good people in the space that really are excited about the hustle. And it's not just a matter of like, oh, please help us. It's like, hey, I love your mission. I love what you're about to do. So I think, we're going to have a lot of positive excitement and attention from the crypto world, especially crypto Twitter. I think is a vehicle that, the traditional world just doesn't understand, but I do. And I think it's going to be exciting with the hashtag hustle. And, one of our hashtags is our $hustle, hashtag secure the bag. I should start using that one, because that's, the bag is the bag token, and we want you to secure it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just dropped a couple more questions in there, so you have a little bit more, things to choose from. I think that there's one scrolled up a little bit here that might be a little interesting as well. So we have, let's see here, Z-Lock. Let me reach out to you, make sure that you provide your Twitter handle for us.
Yeah, and I mean, how many more did you want us to choose? Because I mean, I would prefer, if anything, because the rest of the answers honestly don't really stand to me. So why don't you split the money between them two?
Okay, sounds good. We can do that. I know we're getting very, very close to kind of everyone's time cap, so we will do $100 there between Z-Lock and $100 to Garrett as well, and we'll go
Perfect.
from there. Awesome. All right, gentlemen. So a couple things before we come to a conclusion here. First and foremost, where can people learn more about the hustle?
Yeah, I think you can go to our website, thehusl.io. We're actually revamping that site to the main site's going to be revamped again, and on a launch, it'll be a fun little ecosystem. But you can find us there. But more importantly, all our stuff is in our Twitter. Our Twitter is about 33,000 plus strong. And, we push out a lot of content there always. And I think you can find a lot of, I'm always a part of the Telegram room. Please stop by. We're about 17,000 strong. But, please stop by, answer your questions. You have a direct access to me because I'm always there. Just, hashtag my handle, CryptoSpeedVertical, and I'll definitely get back to you.
Perfect. Love it. Love it. This is
I look forward to talking to Ryan, and hopefully we can film it and put it up on YouTube or something so people can see that 15-minute mentorship and private lesson.
I think that's good. Show value add, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. You guys have been. It's been a real blast having you guys on here. I know I've learned a lot. I always try to come away with learning some stuff through these live streams, and you've done a really good job illustrating A, what the problem is, and B, what your solution is. And I applaud both of you for that. You've done a brilliant job today. So the HUSL.io, follow them on Twitter. We do have a giveaway for them that's still going. So if you want to visit ChainBoost Twitter, chain_boost, you can get engaged and involved with the giveaway that's still going for whitelisting spots. So we'll give one whitelisting away there. We've given 2 away here today. Whole bunch of money, some red envelopes, and a bunch of good stuff. It's been a blast, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. Any final words before we roll out here?
No, I'm excited. Ben, first of all, thank you for taking the time to conduct this AMA. I really enjoyed it. I love this sort of mode of interview, and I really appreciate your guys' help with the IDO. Very excited to have us launch with you guys.
Absolutely. Sapphire, anything?
No, I'm stoked to watch the video when it's all done, and stoked to be a part of the ChainBoost community, or at least to be able to talk about it. So thanks so much. Appreciate you, Ben. All
right. Thank you very much for the kind words. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to stop by the HUSL.io. Till next time.
Okay.
隅でまた霞み始めてる決意揺らぎそうでも閉ざされた空その鍵を壊せばそう握られた刃はまだ持て余されて加速する共鳴が言霊を脈打たせてく注がれた光の雨瞳に映ったこの世界 き続ける憎しみや恨みを生んでしまうのかもしれない正解のない世界に苦しんでそれでも受け止め我らは叫ばなければいけないと心が震えて思い描いた自由への象形僕のエゴであろう君の願いであろうそれがダメなこともあれと悔いやくなれることがいつの日か的な信じたのは一輪の花触れてくれてその時にあがいてもがいてまみれ迷いながらも恋の中にわずか輝くそれをその手に掴み取り勝ち取るためにはまた立ち上がる思い描いた自由への勝利的な僕の血肉となり君の魂となりそれがダメなことはあれと悔いやくなれることがいつの日か的な熱さ探せが大輪の花永遠の中で掴んだ未来を注がれた光の雨瞳に映ったこの世界を守るため立ち向かうそれは心も痩せが痩せたネオンライトが市街の隅でまた霞み始めてる決意揺らぎそうでも閉ざされた空その鍵を